Good morning. Welcome to my vlog. Today is the 21st of October. I had visit today, but I'm still quickly trying to sum up the news. Hundreds of thousands in London demonstrated for another referendum about Brexit. Saudi Arabia about the journalist who was killed. They said he was killed in an argument. Then why did they have to cut him up? Well, that's horrible. It's like the whole story is just so terrible. One journalist said if we had an illusion that we can deal with the Saudis, this is how they deal with journalists. They cut them up. And we have Haaretz, which is a very controversial paper, but nobody is threatening to cut anybody up here. And good news, there's going to be another explosive topic has been postponed to more. Sometimes it's better not to deal with things that are too much of a controversy. The Supreme Court of Israel allowed Lara Al-Qassim to come in. They said it's not allowing somebody entrance into the country is not a punishment. She's going to learn human rights, but I think she's already has learned a lot about human rights from that experience. I don't think it's a good idea. I understand if she was a danger to the security, but voicing an opinion should not be a danger. But as I said, other countries are equally strict, if not more. So in Brazil, it's going to be a very important election for the world. Not only is it going to be who's going to lead the biggest country, the largest country in Latin America, but the tropical forest, the largest tropical forest that takes in the CO2, the carbon dioxide of the whole entire world. There's areas that are supposed to be used for growing soya. The right wing, who's leading in the first round, wants to promote the agriculture in Brazil also at the price of cutting down trees, which is absolutely horrific. I don't know, sometimes I really don't understand what's wrong with the right wing, you know? They don't care about ecology. They just seem to be all the same. It should be a little bit variance. I'm with whoever's with the trees, I'm with them. So, and good news, they're not going to evacuate a Bedouin Palestinian village east of Jerusalem. It's going to be a huge battle, so, pick your battles. Again, about the horrible situation of Israelis' hospitals. Try to be healthy. And a caricature shows the Hamas, and it says, what will we do in the summer? Let me see what else is in the news. Controversy about selling a house for settlers in the Muslim Quarter. Let's not forget, a lot of these houses used to be occupied by Jewish people who were forced to leave in 1948 and before. So, yeah. And, talking about apartheid, you're not allowed to sell, a Muslim is not allowed to sell a house to a Jew, but that's okay. But the opposite, of course, is considered apartheid, so I don't know. And some hope about the Gaza protest being, under control in return for gas. And there's the girl who's going to study human rights at the Hebrew University. They're allowing her to enter. And that's the journalist who was killed, and his body was just brutally murdered and cut up into body parts. I don't know, horrible. And the Saudis say he was killed in a battle. Protest. The Saudis are under oppressive regime. The elections for Brazil are going to decide the fate of the Amazons. This is an article from New York Times. Wow. So, for a long time, the Amazons, they're cutting down trees in order to build illegal farms. Beef, meat is one of the largest export businesses of Brazil, and it only grows more. So you have two wrongs, which definitely don't make a right. They're cutting down the trees, therefore, trees are important for producing oxygen, and they also are. The cows produce 40% of the global warming is because of the cows emitting CO2. I just don't know what it's going to take for humanity to understand that it's destroying itself. Meat is so unhealthy in so many ways, and this is the largest. If you needed a reason to be vegetarian, this is it. Look at these forests. Every time you eat meat and you contribute to the meat industry, you contribute to global warming. 5.2 million kilometers. And those trees, the Amazons, they take in the CO2, the entire world's CO2. And when you cut down the trees, you limit the amount of the trees collecting the CO2. It's also, there are people living there. I don't know. Unfortunately, intelligence is not equally divided. So let's see what's happening in Britain. They changed their mind finally. They realize it's not good for their economy. I'm skipping mental health in Israel is not doing well. It's very sad. The reform, people that are mentally ill do not receive proper care. It's sad that it's become such a, it also has to do with political culture. If you don't realize how important it is, mental health. And, it's sad that it's a difficult field. China, always China in the back. China is negotiating. 2020, they're going to put artificial. This is like the story about the princess and the moon. They're going to put an artificial moon in the sky of Chengdu to light the night. And the light is supposed to be 8 times stronger than the natural light of the moon. That's interesting. Why don't other countries think about that? That's interesting. There are different experiments done. 1990s, the Russians were trying to light certain areas in the earth. If that would save electricity, that's great. That's really great. So, temperature is still 27 degrees here. Let's go to the culture. Wow. This is a campaign against racism. Shoshka. This is an artist who's speaking against racism. His name is Zev Engelmeyer. He's speaking against racism. He's dressed as a woman. I think he's fantastic. His name is Shoshka. He's just like you, Shoshka. And he's taking photos by next to campaigns against racist tones that have racist tones. Israel culture under danger of being censored. A new movie about Neil Armstrong. It says it's difficult, but interesting. I don't know. I prefer documentary on that topic. Why would I want to see? Netflix again. I don't know. I don't watch these things. Russian-speaking TV series. More people with the Me Too. I don't know what's for. And there's a piano festival opening today. We might do something about that. And Blood, Sweat and Tears are going to appear tomorrow. I'm going to ask the kids if they want to go see it. That would be great. That would be very great, I think. And that's what I'm going to. I'm looking for something interesting to do with the kids on their visit. And about divorce, it seems that in Israel, children cause divorce. Poor people divorce much more than the high socioeconomical level. Interesting research. And they asked, is our children really bringing happiness? And actually, except if you're with the Arabs, they were checking Arabs and Jews about divorce. There's a researcher who's checking out how are Jews and Arabs differently with divorce. And they showed that from the woman that married, 2003, 20,473 women. They were following them to the year 2015. There's actually divorce researchers. That's fascinating. European divorce research in Tel Aviv. We're having their annual conference in Tel Aviv. And it's divorce in Europe. Very fascinating that when you have a child under 3, the chances of getting divorced is 5 times more than if you don't have children. And in Arabs, no, not in Arab families. And maybe it's because it's a traditional society. It's very difficult to decide what is the factor, the children, or the length of the marriage. The second child will sometimes make the marriage more stable, but only concerning Arabs. Arab women with 2 children did not tend to divorce. When they had the 3rd and 4th, they had less and less divorce. Jews, on the other hand, any number of children except 4, for some reason, brought to a higher rate of divorce. What about money? When their partners have more than 150,000 shekels, their women's chances of divorce when they have a child, higher, 9 times higher than women without a child. When you have a child and you're wealthy, you have more chance of divorcing. If you have 2 children, you have more divorce, but if you only look at income, you see that lower income in Israel divorce much more than any other, middle class or high. This is very important. The weak are the ones who separate. Love isn't just going out the window. It's there are a lot of children, and that has meaning. In Norway, also, a country that helps a lot in raising children, the parents divorce less because the country supports families with children. That's why if you're poor, it's better for you to divorce in Israel if you have a lot of children. Now they're researching it. It's not necessarily that when you have children divorce. Anyway, divorce is not necessarily bad news. According to one professor, women usually initiate the divorce. The higher divorce rate indicates a society that recognizes the autonomy of women. I prefer women that get divorced than women that get murdered, she explains. And I applaud that. So, let's do something artistic. What else? Okay. Let's translate a poem. Why not? Shir Bayom, Rivka Ayalon. That's the name of a poet. And she has a poem called Talking to a Girl, a little girl. Stupid is the page when a girl stopped drawing and reading. Stupid is the page. She wanted something. Everything in the bag. Little magic. No magic to sew. No magic to open up. Once you searched for a cup, there are no more knights. Like knights in shining armor. Very good message. It's like feminist poem. Anyway, peace, light, and love for me. And have a great day.